Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day. Jennifer is grateful for the opportunity to educate, empower, and inspire you with powerful conversations, insights, and new viewpoints. Here's your host, Jennifer J. Hammond.
Bring you another amazing woman who is really passionate about helping you, and get this, with your money. This is something that's been taboo forever for us to talk about our money. And so I'm so excited not only to have our next guest who is going to talk about money, but also help us really change our mindset about money so that we become power and empowered when we think about money, but also when we're creating our money and our wealth. So first of all, I want to introduce you to our next guest, Jessica Weaver. She's amazing. She is not first of all, she's a wealth advisor. She's a best-selling author, and she's a blogger. And I don't want to mess this up. I love it that she's a blogger of Not Your Father's Advisor. Mm-hmm. She helps women earn more, work less, and become strategic and intentional with their careers, businesses, and yay, money. So welcome, Jessica.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. I am pumped to be here. I am excited. I love talking about money, especially with women. There's so much to do. And let's just shatter the glass ceiling right now. Let's just blow it right out. Not an issue anymore. Let's just move past it, because the wealth that is out there and the money that is constantly circulating us, it's always around us. There's always a flow of money. Let's open up ourselves to that flow.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that's something I realized even for myself is I had to know there was an abundance of money around me, because I came from a very poor background, but also came from a very negative money mindset. So one of the things I know that you do is you help women have a wealthy mindset when it comes to money, but specifically for women, because I think as women, so often, number one, we don't like to confront it. If we get married and we can have someone else do it, or if we could just get anybody else to confront it so that we don't have to confront it. But two, a lot of it is because we've been told we can't. And so we have that idea. And then we also have been indoctrinated. And I think there's a million sayings like that your parents or somebody said, money doesn't grow on trees, or you can't do that. We can't afford that. All of these negative money mindsets. So how do we break through, as you said, break through that glass ceiling, but how do we break through those money mindsets that we were raised with?
It is so true. Every time that your parents told you, no, we don't have enough money for it, you feel like you're not worthy of that piece. And it wasn't their intention, just like it's not my intention when I do the same thing to my own children. It's not our intention, but it starts to create our relationship with money. Really, from the ages of 3 to 7, that's when we get all of our impressions of the world.
Yeah.
And that is such an early age. My daughter is 3.5 right now. And I'm thinking, wow, not only is money, it's completely virtual now. She doesn't even view money. She doesn't see being exchanged, right? I pay the babysitter with Venmo. No clue about money. She points to the computer and says, that's the store. You're right. Oh, that's where Amazon is. Yeah. Especially during a pandemic. So it's true, from an early age, we are getting all of our opinions, our impressions about money. And then here we are 30, 40 years later, and they're playing out and we have no idea, because that's just how we grew up. That's what our parents said, what our teachers told us, what our spouse told us, our peers. And here we are, we've buried this wealthy woman who's been dying to come out and play, dying to come out and tell you, you are worth to earn $1 million. You are worth it to earn whatever amount of money, to have thousands of dollars saved up, millions of dollars saved up. You are worth it exactly as you are today. Yeah. You don't have to do anything to feel worthy of it. But it all starts here.
I was just saying, I want everyone to soak that in wherever you are. If you're listening on one of the podcasts or if you're watching us, just soak that in for a minute. You are worthy of the money. You are worthy of being in that flow of money, coming in, coming out, coming in, letting it flow out. Because so often that's really what's at the core, is that we have this hidden secret fear that we're not worthy of the money, right?
Yes. Exactly. Thank you for saying that, Jennifer. It's so true. It's like we've been dying to get a seat at the table, that wealthy woman table. We've been dying to get a seat at it. And for some reason, there's this block, and it is money blocks. It's the first thing that I do when I have new people come to me to work with them. We start identifying these money blocks that's preventing that flow of money coming in. And I felt very similar when I came into the finance industry, because it's a boys' club, let's be honest. It's a lot of men.
It is.
I felt like I could never get a seat at the table. And I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine, and she's like, you know what? We build our own darn table. We create our own table, right? Instead of trying to fit a folding chair into a table that's already full, let's build our own table. And I think that's the story when it comes to wealth. It's not that having $10 million is everybody's success story with wealth. It's figuring out what is that success story for you. Because it's going to be different for you, Jennifer. It's going to be different for me, to everybody else. Really, so what is enough? What does that abundance look like? And knowing there's always going to be more money coming.
There's no shortage. I think that's one of the things, there's just no shortage whatsoever. So what are some of the things, I know that, like, one of my favorite women that I've recently been spending a lot of time with, and I really look up to, is a woman named Peggy McCall. She works with Bob Proctor. A lot of people know Bob. And Peggy, she actually just wrote a new book called Savvy Wisdom. And I bring it up because one of the things that she talks about is, first thing in the morning, you need to have your kind of whatever you're going to do, but you're going to focus on something about money, meaning that it's easy to make millions of dollars. It's
Great
easy.
points.
I have so much fun. So it's that attitude of gratitude of, I'm so grateful and thankful that it's easy to make money and I deserve money. And so she actually verbalizes it or asks you to write it down. What do you suggest?
It is so true. It's how we are showing up every day.
Yeah.
And setting that intention. And I was just speaking for Johnson & Johnson. I was their keynote speaker yesterday morning. And I was saying this exact thing, like, the money is everywhere. And instead of viewing it as spending money, what if we always shifted that word to invest? Even when you're at the store, I'm investing in these groceries because it's the health of my family. And we shift our whole mentality to, we're investing our time into this. We're investing in this relationship. We're investing in this money. And I'd say the same thing. I always start out in the morning with a meditation, a prayer, to set the intention for the day and to be open to receiving the money and knowing I'm worthy of receiving the money. That allows me to show up at my highest self to best empower the other women. Because if I showed up when it comes to money and I was like wishy-washy, I didn't know my own worth, how is that going to translate to the people I'm trying to help?
Yeah.
But when I stand in my power of a wealthy woman, that wealthy woman mindset, it allows other women and encourage them and gets them excited to show up in their highest self, their best power. And I'm even doing this 8-week, we're calling it Not Your Money's Miracle. And it's 8 weeks where I'm just going to allow money miracles to come to me, and I'm going to document it. And I'm inviting the women in our community to do it as well. And we're going to showcase the series of money miracles happening, because imagine the beliefs that we can create, the ripple effect of other people seeing women asking for things, right? Calling in the money and receiving it, and what that's going to look like. Because Jennifer, women give back 4 times more than men.
Yes.
So, Mary, like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with all the money that's going to come to me. I bet you know, right? What would you do if you had an extra, let's say $50,000? What would you do with it?
So, and for me, I have different things that I'm super passionate about. One of them is just literacy in general. And I love going in and helping just financial literacy on the very basic things. So for me, where would I spend that money? One, I would spend it on how do I get that message out to more people and into even into schools and talk to just like what you do. I love helping women because I can understand how much I really had to break through my own issues in my mind of not feeling worthy to be a millionaire, not feeling worthy to always have constantly more and more money coming in, and being able to help people in that way. And of course, I have other charities that I'm super passionate about. I really am big on stopping human trafficking. I'm very passionate about that. And then again, about veterans. So those are my three top ones. But you said something I don't want to pass by without reading, because you said it and I thought, oh my gosh, we need to make sure we say this. And I've heard this attributed to, or different people say different quote, this come from different people, but in the basic thing is, this quote says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, to be gorgeous, talented, fabulous? And again, I've heard this from, I heard that, I've heard it from some different people, and I'm not sure who's the real person who originally said it.
I know who it is. Yeah.
You do?
I have this quote in my newest book, Confessions of a Money Queen, because it is so true. And you started reading it and I got chills. It is, I think it hits home. It does definitely hits home with all the women that I work with. And I lead with this. I want them to know they're worthy. And I think, and this is one of the exercises I do with women, we need to flex that worthiness muscle more.
Yeah.
We need to stretch beyond what we've been told is possible with our money and what's expected of us, right? I'm going to work for 30, 40 years. I might get small raises, 2-3% here and there. I'll sacrifice every day to maybe have $1 million to retire on. That does not sound like fun to me with money. Let's rebel against that. Throw that out the window. And let's think there are so many possibilities with money. And there's exercises that I do just to get women to break through that own barrier that they have, right? Even looking at your income and doubling it. And then I have them double it again and get really, really comfortable with that huge number that they probably never thought was possible.
Yeah.
But guess what, Jennifer? We've set the intention for that number and they hit that number.
Yep.
And it's so cool to see it happening. Get emotional. It's so amazing to see it happening with our women. And then we do the same thing with their net worth, with their savings. Let's double it again. And it becomes a game.
Yeah. And to me, two things you just said that I think are so, so powerful. Number one, once it's a game, once it's fun, it's playful. It doesn't have to happen. It's playful and it's fun. That's one of the most, to me, that is the secret to the universe, is finding that spirit of play, that playfulness, that happiness, that fun. When you make it a game, it's amazing how many silly things you'll do for 10 points, because it's a game. And again, what do those 10 points mean? They don't really mean anything. So as soon as you can make it fun like that, you are brilliant. That is one of the most important things. And the second thing you said, and I wanted to highlight it before we go on to our other stuff real quick, but one of the things you said is, you're setting these things, these goals, and you're doubling it and so on and so forth. One thing that was said to me, and it was so impactful, I'll never forget, I was in the education committee for the state of Florida, and I was in college and I was testifying about, educational standards and blah, blah, blah. And I remember it was actually one of the senators who said to me, one thing that I've realized is that no one rises to low expectations. Oh, that gives me goosebumps. So guess what? We have low expectations about ourselves when it comes to money. Mm-hmm. And so what you're doing is also raising that expectation. And so, but you have to decide to do that. And if you don't decide to change your expectations about money, guess what? You're not going to see it actually ever manifest. And I think that's one of those, again, it slips by us so fast. And so I'm so excited for you to share about what's happening in your community, because there's so many that need this. So let's get to real estate, because I forgot to, so often I want to make sure we talk about, so real estate, how does it really fit into that empire, that money empire, but creating and building wealth? Of course, I have my idea because I've been in this for almost 24, 25 years now.
You are the expert. Yes.
Your viewpoint on this.
It's a very interesting conversation going on among the wealthy women, the high net worth women. And I've been speaking with a lot of them, and real estate plays a piece in it. And it plays a piece in my own portfolio as well. My husband and I, we have our home, but then we also have property outside of that. So I am so grateful to have that experience, because one, the cost alone, you really do need to plan into it. And I view it as like a startup business. Mm-hmm. If you're going to take on a rental property, or even as a vacation home that you rent out here and there are startup costs. There's the initial transaction, right? The down payments, the taxes, carrying the property until, if you need to do renovations, completed. We bought during construction. So then there's that whole process as well. And he's in a different country. So that was a whole nother hassle. We learned a ton, Jennifer. We learned a ton. Whew. But I think it's more, what is the purpose? And I talk about this with any investment, real estate, stocks, bonds, any investment. It's more, what is the purpose? What is the intention behind it? Is this a rental property just for passive income? Is it someplace that you're going to eventually retire to, or vacation on, or share with your family? And going in with it, okay, this is going to fit into our overall plan. It's not on a whim one day. We're like, let's get a rental property. And the other piece is, you really do need to be educated on what the markets are doing. What are the rental rates going? What are the interest rates for your mortgages? The real estate prices, because I've heard, and you would know this a lot more, Jennifer, is there's not a lot of supply out there right now.
It always is market by market. And I always emphasize, and it changes. We're talking in 2021 right now, but you don't know. I mean, it could be 2022 and things could shift. And again, local, you have to look at the numbers locally. And again, it goes back to locally, what's happening with money. How easy is it to borrow and get a mortgage? How easy is it for you to use for your down payment? So it goes back to money, but it goes back to looking at what's happening right now in your local area with real estate.
That's such a good point. And I think that brings up, that's why it's so important to have people like Jennifer in your area. So even if you want to buy, but the time isn't ready yet, you have that relationship, because you're not monitoring the markets like you are, just like my clients are monitoring the stock market like I am. Having that expert and preparing. And like, there's that opportunity. Maybe the time isn't right now, but maybe 6 months, a year, it's a whole different landscape. So let's prepare on the other side, the money side, whether it's your cash flow, building up your savings, working on your credit score. Doing that with a lot of my clients right now, working on your credit score, getting rid of the other debt, so that when the time comes, and I think this is the biggest piece, you don't have to second guess yourself. It's like, that's the property, we're going for it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stress anymore over whether we should do it. Can we afford to do this? What's the overall goal? Is it going to be alignment? That flip-flop. Then you can just move right ahead, and you'll have a leg up on everybody else who's second guessing themselves.
Exactly. So just so we don't run out of time, we promised 5 money moves to build an empire. So we've talked about how real estate fits into your money. You definitely, I love what you just said about purpose. And I think that's one of the critical things that I also try to emphasize. Whatever real estate, whether you're going to do rentals, short-term rentals, or buying for yourself, you need to figure out what your purpose is with your real estate to figure out how it fits into your money empire. And we talked about at the beginning, wealthy women mindset. And that I think is the most important one always, is your mindset. But one other thing also that you love to talk about is how to work less and earn more. Will you share a little bit about that now?
Yes. And I would love to share a personal story. And it happened last month. It just happened, where I turned down 6 figures of money. I turned it down. And the only way I could have even turned it down was one, and this is one of the money moves, right? Our power moves is, I knew who I am. I know who I am now. I know what I'm worth, what my value is. And I would have never gotten there if I didn't do the same exercises we were talking about earlier and stretching myself. And if I didn't know my purpose in life, right? What is my overall goal with my business, with me here on earth, helping other women? So I turned down the money and I ended up having my highest month ever of income.
Yay!
And I think that says a lot about, it's not always what you say yes to, it's the distractions you say no to. And knowing your worth, knowing your purpose in this world or with your business, with your career, allows you to say no to those distractions, because I knew saying yes to that money, I was going to have to trade who I am, how I work, and who I serve. And it just didn't sit right with me anymore. So I turned it down and I opened myself up. And I know now that was a huge money block. And I opened myself up to receive from so many other sources.
You know, I actually had a very similar situation happen, and it was about a month ago, and it was amazing. And I won't get into the details, but it's very similar to your story of it wasn't on my purpose, and they weren't willing to, they really were looking to pay me a fraction of what I'm worth. And I realized that still had to go back to my own money mindset, because my purpose is really to help millions of people, not only, and it's kind of threefold in helping them with financial literacy. Number two, helping women, especially women helping women, like someone like you. You're right in my purpose. I desperately want to do everything I can to lift you up and to promote you out there, because you are also one of those people who, as you just said, what's my purpose for being here on earth? And I literally think about that every day of how can I make the world a little bit better place, even if it's just making somebody grumpy at the store, the grocery store, and just get them to smile. And again, even if they're wearing a mask, I can tell by their eyes if they've all of a sudden looked up and started to smile. Because with the mask, people forget and they don't want to smile. And three, I think it's really, really important, like with what happened to me, very similar to you, is I realized I wasn't going to be able to help as many people. And I really wanted to make sure I was doing something that was really going to help the most amount of people, and that I wasn't having someone else tell me who I could help and who I couldn't help.
Amen. Yes, exactly. Trading who we are for money. And we get into the habit a lot, and it's very hard for us to say no. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And I'm proud of you. I want to say the same thing. I'm so proud of you. We have to, as I think you and I said earlier, I'm gonna say it again, is we have to celebrate each other and celebrate
That's another money move, is celebrating. It's why our community, women, they're finally able to celebrate getting a raise, a promotion, more money. Who do we get to tell that to without feeling like we're showing off,
right?
Or it's a faux pas, right? Taboo topic, right? We tell our parents, maybe our spouse. But to celebrate things like that, right?
Yeah.
And then a big money move that I talk about is, how do we multitask our money?
Yeah.
So instead of our money just doing one purpose, right? We're talking about real estate having, what is the purpose intention behind it, right? Real estate, it could be passive income. You have the growth, the appreciation, usually the growth, you get tax advantages for it as well. That's three purposes right there, right? You're building equity, and it could be a future retirement home or another future place to visit, or free vacations while you're getting income and growth on it, and free vacations. So I do that with everything, right? Whether it comes down to insurance, to stocks, bonds, your whole plan, we look at what are the things working for you when it comes to money.
Yeah.
What are the components, the variables that are working against you? How do we enhance the things working for you? How do we manage, mitigate, protect, or neutralize the things working against us?
Yeah.
And that's how you know your money is being extremely efficiently run. That's how you build an empire, so that you no longer have to work for the money. You work because you want to. It's kind of like this work optional lifestyle, which I think is pretty sexy and attractive, especially for women. Instead of trading 5 days a week for 2 days on the weekend, right? That's a negative 60% rate of return on our time. We've gotten scammed this whole time.
Yeah.
We've been
lied to. You've been lied.
We don't have to do that. And that's what I talk about. A lot of our women in my community, we end up working less and earning more. Because one, we know our value now. So now we're not chasing people that we're not going to get paid our value. Those distractions are gone. We're charging more. We're giving more value. We're empowering more people around us, like that quote we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And then we optimize everything that comes in. Every dollar that comes in has a purpose, has a place. And we're multitasking it. We're growing it really efficiently.
And I think what you just said, earlier about, first thing is we have to also open the conversation about money and find who it is that we're okay talking about it. And, just like you said about celebrating when you got a raise, or even like for me, when I've had a really big sale or something, unfortunately you end up sometimes where people are not celebrating with you because they're upset because they didn't be able to do it. So they were jealous or they're angry. They're stuck in anger, or they're stuck in the fact that they've lost instead of being able to celebrate with you. And I'm curious if you have any story you could share for how do you help someone who's stuck in the loss, and I talked to a woman recently who she just doesn't believe that she could, even as a real estate agent, be even more successful, because she's like, well, I'll never get to that level. And I was like, oh my gosh, as long as you say that, you're right. You won't. You have to change that attitude and what you're saying. What would you say?
That's self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Because our mind is stubborn as anything and wants to always be proven right. So whatever we say out comes back to us, right? Our surroundings is just a mirror of what's inside of us. And it's so true when people are stuck in that negative downward spiral, and it breaks your heart because you see the potential. Like if only you could see the beauty that I see looking at you.
That's such a great phrase. If you could only see the beauty that I see looking at you.
Yeah, the wealth, right? This huge magnitude, the power. And not only that, who she's letting down by thinking that way. Because, right, when we stand in our power, that ripple effect happens and other people stand in their power. When we don't stand in our power, we're doing a disservice to everybody else.
Yep, absolutely.
And I get that too when I do those exercises about people expanding their income, their worth, their savings. They laugh at me. And I think it's people are in that receiving, the processing mode, right? Researching, processing. They're not ready for that action mode yet.
Yeah.
But why wait until you're at that breaking point to get help?
Exactly.
Why not do it today?
Right.
And step into that leadership mode. And I think that's a big thing that I just recently had to do that too. I was constantly servicing current clients, stuck in the operations of the business instead of stepping into leadership and delegating. And that allows me to show up at my highest self and empower other people and to grow the business more.
Yeah.
So it is a scary step. It's super scary. It's like, what if I fail, right? What if something happens? But nothing's ever going to grow unless we step into leadership.
And you have to also remember that we learn more when we do, make mistakes, because our failures teach us so much, even though it's hard, just like confronting money mindsets that might have been negative or that are still holding us back. All of that is so critical to getting to your next level. So before we're almost out of time. I want to make sure I ask you, this is one of my favorite questions to ask. So how do you create yays in every day?
In every day. Oh, well, I definitely have my gratitude journal. So for me, it's always thanking God above me. And I wake up and I thank God for blessing the day, for walking with me through the day. And then I did this exercise the other day where I just sat back and I looked at how my life has changed over even just 1 year. And it was insane to see the difference. So for me, and this is the biggest thing, is taking the time to reflect and to celebrate, taking that pause, because I'm constantly in that go, go, go. Let's just keep pushing on through like a bulldozer.
Yep.
We need to enjoy it before we don't even realize how much growth we've had. Like taking that time to sit and celebrate, to share it, and to bring, I think for me, bringing my children into the celebrations so they know that money isn't this overwhelming, always negative topic, that we can celebrate it. in different ways, whether it's a dance party or a night out or talking about it and bringing them into the conversation. And that's why I encourage my women. I have them have a money miracle book. And every time they have a money miracle, to write it down so that they can see. And this is something that real estate agent could do, to see how many money miracles really happen each day. And we just blow right past them.
Yep.
And knowing money is always working for us and time is always working for us. Instead of always being in a hurry.
Yeah.
Taking this time to pause and slow down. And so we can do, yay! So we can do it.
Well, and I think we have to celebrate our yays every day. It's so important. So I want to make sure that people know how to get a hold of you if they want to learn from you about their money, especially women who are listening to this. How do they get a hold of you, and what are some of the resources you have for them?
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. JessicaWeaver.com has our blog, Not Your Father's Advisor, has my 2 books. Oh, here I am. My first book, Strong Woman, Stronger Assets, and my second one, Time to Refine, and my newest baby, Confessions of a Money Queen. So this has not just the 5 money moves, all 10 of my money moves, really your power move, like your go-to power move, that no matter where you are in life, whatever setback you've had, you can lean on this move to get back, right? To step into your wealthy woman, to step into that leadership. So if you go there now, we have our whole pre-launch going on where you get money meditations for the mindset. We have a whole spirit money journal that you work through to uncover the money blocks, the beliefs, everything that's been working against you and keeping you stuck, to open up that faucet, that flow of money again. And you also get immediate downloads of my first 2 books.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty awesome. Huge package.
That's
Go there. Yeah, you can get it for free.
Nice.
We welcome you into our community. I'm so, so grateful to be here with you, Jennifer. You are amazing. I feel like you're my pink soul sister.
Yeah, exactly. We're in our pink coast together. So as we go out, let's both share a yay. Yay! Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show.